implore you to go take a listen to the Carter 5. Some ditties on there. Definitely not anything to sneeze at. I just wouldn't call it the number one album or the best album of the year. Now, if it stays on track for this week and next week, he will have the third highest selling album of the year so far, which is a far cry beneath his Carter 3 album, which did almost 1 million in sales its first week. So nothing to sneeze at. However, we just wanted a little bit more is all I'm saying. Speaking of a little bit more, so Remy Ma has been doing her rounds with her husband, Papoose. They have been appearing on several talk shows as well as several radio interviews talking about her current pregnancy and about their upcoming show, the Mackies, I believe. And she is also appearing on the new Revolt station. I don't know if this is going to be a podcast or just a television show, but with her and Joe Budden and a couple of other people. I believe that it's already started. I haven't tuned in, but notable is that Remy's husband Papoose actually feels that Bill Cosby is in fact innocent. Yes, that is what the word on the curb is that Papoose feels that Bill Cosby is in fact innocent. Now, I don't know what would help Papoose come to this conclusion. Especially since Bill Cosby himself has said that he gave several women the date rape drugs. So I'm not sure what Papoose is reading from. But at any rate, Mr. Cosby has been sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison for his crimes, sexual assault, and rape allegations. And he's already been locked up in a federal, I want to say it is a federal state prison. And Mr. Cosby, who is 81 years old, will probably more than likely spend the rest of his remaining days in jail. Now, a lot of people say that he may get out on early behavior and do less than the 3 years. However, the prison that he's locked up in is a new prison, so it's not like we can talk about issues of overcrowding anymore. I mean, he's in there, and more than likely, he's going to spend the rest of his days in prison. But getting back to Papoose. Papoose says they're only doing this to him to tarnish his brand. I don't believe that that's true, Mr. Papoose. I believe that we're doing this to him because he actually raped and assaulted women. Now, what if in fact one of those women was your daughter and or wife? I'm sure you'd feel differently. I am so tired. I am so fucking tired of people associating all of the things that Bill Cosby has done, which was great. Dr. Bill Cosby, who gave us the pop phenomenon as The Cosby Show in the early 80s, helped to change the mindset of America to how Black people were viewed at that time. And I still think The Cosby Show is one of the greatest shows ever invented. Greatest. That's just not up for debate. Now, Bill Cosby as a man, Mr. William H. Cosby, was a rapist. And I don't think that that's up for debate. But for those of you who still think it is, I'd like to hearken you to one MSNBC reporter who, in his overzealousness to be seen just like the white men, referred to Dr. Christine Blasey Ford as a slut or a skank, was actually unceremoniously dismissed by MSNBC immediately after he made that crude and disgusting comment. So if you believe that as a Black man, you are entitled to do the same things that a white man is doing, please don't ever get it twisted. You're not. Okay? Speaking of politics and Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, I'm sure much of you, have been watching what's going on in our current politics. What a shame. So Supreme Court judge nominee, Judge Brett Kavanaugh, is being accused, not by one, not by two, but several women, of sexual assault. One of which is a 1982 assault being alleged by Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, who testified in front of a sea of white male senators about the night in question. And that actually led to Judge Brett Kavanaugh being on an 11 and talking about his innocence. Now, listen, all I have to say about that is this is a disgusting day in politics where this is even up for debate. Whether or not you're a Democrat or you're a Republican or you're an independent, sexual assault against anyone is a crime. It is a crime that is punishable by law. And the moment that we start saying who is a first-class citizen and who isn't based off of gender or based off of race, that's already where we as a country are going in the wrong direction. So I really hope that what we're seeing in our politics does not reign true. I know that racism, unlike what Kanye West believes, racism is alive and well in this country. And I'm just hoping that we are not looking at what could be the next Supreme Court Judge Brett Kavanaugh, get away with sexual misconduct and being able to still be given a seat at the table, if you will, at the highest court of the land. I hope that that's just not what we're seeing. And something in my heart of hearts tells me that it is. Okay, so I know you guys want to get into this, but y'all, now here's what I've been thinking, right? I have been thinking much ado about the fact that I think I'm ready for a winter fall boo thing. Now, first of all, before you go rolling your eyes at me like, oh, you say you not want no boyfriend, blah, 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 whatever. I didn't say I want a boyfriend. I just said I want a little boo thing. Now, one of my friends asked me, well, how are you going to do this if you are not going to be on a dating website? Now, listen, one thing I'm not doing is a Bumble, is a Tinder, is a Match, is a Plenty of Fish, is a none of those things. You can hang her up where? All the way back there, bitch. I'm not doing it. So if I can't meet somebody the good old-fashioned way in a supermarket aisle just like the rest of you hoes, well then I don't want it. I tell you where I won't be picking up anybody is at the gym. Yesterday, so weird. I'm at the gym, I'm working out. Now, one of the things that I can't stand is when there are men ogling you in the gym. Like, I'm not trying to be sexy. I'm not trying to be cute. I don't have no makeup on. I'm not talking to anyone. I am just minding my black ass business. And I just find it's very weird to have a man just sit there and stare at you the entire time. I think that, like, that's rude. You know, like, I prefer not to be ogled. Can you please not? Yet and still, I had a gentleman who was sitting on the machine next to me, literally just standing there staring at me. And when I realized that he was, and I made eye contact with him, it was like the stare off that would never end. Like, he was like, oh no, I'm not going to look away. I'm just going to let you know that I'm still staring. I was not turned off. I did not think that shit was cute. Take a picture. It'll last longer. I hate it. So please, if you are at the gym, do not be one of those people that just sits there and stares at people, huh? It's weird and it's creepy. Any which way, speaking of weird and creepy things, so you guys, let's get into Nicki and Cardi at the Icon where there were no icons, okay? Now, I know that this happened some time ago and, you know, everyone has given their opinion about respectability politics and what have you. For those of you who have been living under a rock, this is the story. Nicki and Cardi both show up to the Harper's Bazaar Icon Gala held in New York City during New York City Fashion Week, and they commenced to fighting. Now, there were not actual fisticuffs being blown. There was a shoe that was thrown. And I think before they can actually get into a physical altercation, I think it was broken up by, each mutual team's bodyguards, what have you. But of course, it all took place not before people's phones and cameras could be out, which basically caused Cardi to leave the event with a lump on her head, and Nicki to proceed forward in her trolling and giving us a lackluster album nonetheless. Now, let me just say this. I feel like your girl Nicki is doing the same thing that Kanye did or is doing. I think that her lack of creativity is causing a lot of distractions as far as her art is concerned. I think that if the album was as good as she is saying that it is, there would be not all this much ado about nothing. I think that Cardi has often struggled with her fame in terms of knowing what level she's on and responding accordingly. Now, Cardi, who today in New York City is turning in herself, surrendering herself to New York City police after she got into a fight, again, pattern, after she got into a fight over, with two strippers over, one of whom she believes to have slept with her man, Mr. Set, that is Mr. Off, last name Set, of the three amigos. Now, I've never heard of Offset, Quavo, or Mr. Takeoff going to any event fighting another rapper over fucking the same Instagram whores. Now, I'm not sure why Cardi feels the need to constantly be in a fight with someone, but Cardi, let me just say this to you, sis. You have ascended what is common success folklore for many female rappers. Many female rappers would die to have more than one single, even one single, on the top 20 album chart. You currently are featured or are dominating a single on the chart, occupying at least 3 of the top 20 spaces. That's a big deal. You're slotted to be in a movie. You just ripped Milan Fashion Week, which, on a side note, I know many of you girls were going ham hock over all of the looks that Cardi was giving during Milan Fashion Week, and I am no hater. She looked amazing. My favorite of the looks was the Mugler number with the exaggerated men's fit blazer and these shredded biking shorts. I thought that was a look. Classic Mugler. You guys went goo goo gaga for Cocoa Puffs over that large hat ensemble by Michael Costello, the long flowing dress. Now, I just want to say to you guys, let's just go back, if we will, to the Grammys of, I believe, this year, if not last year, where Blue had to unceremoniously tell her parents to calm the fuck down. Wasn't Beyonce wearing one of them big old saucer hats? One of them looking like a spacecraft hat? Yeah, the large ones that we were going goo goo gaga over Cardi wearing. Now, no shade, no tea, because Michael Costello, I've had my own. Now, if you don't know who Michael Costello is, he is a dress designer, I guess, if you will, out of LA, who's said some pretty off the cuff things himself. But Michael Costello did design Cardi's beautiful hat dress ensemble that she wore that the girls were going goo goo gaga over. I thought it was an amazing look. I thought that I loved her her print on print Dolce & Gabbana look as well. I thought her hair is slaying the scene. Colin Carter, who is her stylist, is doing an amazing job. Even today, as she surrendered herself to New York City police, I thought she looked great. I think my biggest issue right now between these two women is, number